Please welcome Matías, Peire, GRIDX.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and thank you for the invitation, and I'm very excited of participating of this awesome event. My name is Matías Peire. I'm a founder of GRIDX. GRIDX is a venture capital fund with a company builder model focused on biotech and in Latin America. And as we come from Latin America, and Latin America is a very biodiverse region, one of the most biodiverse regions in the world, we are looking for these kind of startups that are taking advantage of that biodiversity. Puna Bio is a wide experienced team that use this biodiversity and been working in the last 20 years collecting extremophiles, bacteria from different places in Latin America, and they are using that collections to transform agriculture. And today, Elisa, one of the scientists of the team and founders of the team, are going to explain us how can they transform agriculture with this biodiversity and extremophiles bacteria. Thank you.
Breaking the wall of soil degradation. Elisa Bertini, Puna Bio.
So feeding our growing population for the next decades is one of the key challenges for humanity. And guess what? Soil, it is a backbone of our food system. Unfortunately, according to the FAO, today, 30% of the soil, it is degraded. And it's expected that if we continue with the same trends, with the same practices, 90% will become degraded unless we do something. So, hi everybody, I'm Elisa Bertini, I'm from Argentina. And in Puna Bio, in order to find a solution, we went back to the past. We went to the only place on Earth that resembles the origins of life, without human even existed. I'm talking about La Puna. La Puna is located in South America between Argentina, Chile, and Bolivia, and is the highest and driest desert on Earth. We have been studying this environment for more than 20 years, and we discovered they are our superheroes. They are tiny organisms that we call extremophiles. These extremophiles are able to survive to the extreme conditions of La Puna, and here I'm talking about really high UV radiation, the presence of heavy metals, low nutrients, and even in those conditions, they can promote and improve plant growth. They can give to the plants different nutrients, like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. They can give other molecules like phytohormones, and they also inhibit the growth of pathogenic fungi. But the most important part are not the extremophiles themselves, but rather what we are doing with them. In Puna Bio, we are creating novel biological products for agriculture. We are creating next generation biofertilizers because instead of using the typical microorganisms, we are using our extremophiles as a raw material. With them, the farmers can grow crops not only in fertile soil, but also on degraded soils, in the presence of salt and drought. For instance, we were able to grow rice beans and soybeans in twice the salinity they usually tolerate. And we also demonstrate that our extremophiles perform excellent in fertile soil. So now, let me show you what we have done in 2 years, how we passed from a flask Erlenmeyer to the hands of the farmers worldwide. The first year, we validate our greenhouse results in 20 field trials in Argentina, in 20 different locations, different environments. We use our extremophiles as a seed treatment for soybean. And on average, we increase between 10 and 13% the yield compared to the 3% of the commercial product. And the same was done with the win rate, which is the consistency of our result, which was much higher compared to the commercial product. In 2021, we scale up our production. We produce more than 4,000 liters. We settle more than 20,000 acres in field trials, and we work with more than 40 companies. And this year, let me say that it was a great year. We produced more than 18,000 liters. We started our field trials in the States and Brazil. We raised our seed round, And we got our regulatory approval in Argentina that allow us to commercially launch our first product. So proudly, let me share with you Kunza. This is the first next generation biofertilizer on the market made out of extremophile. And this is just the beginning. We have a collection of more than 500 strains, and we are working towards improving the yield of different crops, really important for Europe, like corn and wheat, in which we are also working in order to reduce the use of chemical fertilizers. We are developing biofungicides, and we have also a whole playbook in order to restore degraded soil. And all of this, it wouldn't have been possible without the dream team. We are 18 now in the company, and this is the founding team that perfectly combines the best expertise in science and business. And before time runs out, to finish, I would like to say that fortunately, we are not in 2050, we're in 2022. So we are on time to make a change if we want to stop soil degradation in Europe and worldwide. This is our chance, so please don't waste it. Thank you.
Is that a sales pitch? Sorry, I just want to check. Yeah, is that a sales pitch? Can I buy it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so let's have the question first, Frank, and then, yeah, sorry.
How stable are these thermophiles? Do you need to repeat the treatment every year?
Yes, we are working toward that, but yes, because of the mode of action of our extremophiles, we use a little amount of liquid. This is a liquid that we have to mix with the seed before the sown. And because of the mode of action of our extremophile, we are using this formula 2 different strains, and they are endophytes. So the hypothesis is that we remove the most part of the microorganisms after the harvest. So we need to reapply each year.
Okay, second question will be here. Lamin, I think?
Yeah,
yes.
thanks. How does your product compare to a normal fertilizer in terms of energy needed for production and also in terms of cost? I mean, what's the outlook?
Yeah, about the cost, we are competitive with the biofertilizers that are now in the market. But about the price, we are a premium price because the ROI for the farmer it is 10-to-1. Regarding the production, and we have an advantage. This is a soybean product that the typical microorganisms use for this, it is bradyrhizobium. The fermentation time for the typical microorganisms, it is three days, and the complete process is 6 days. With our extremophile, the growth of them, it's only in 5 hours. So we are competitive in regarding the production of the product.
Great. I think it was first, yes, Hemai, please, and then Frank, yes.
So I'm not familiar with the sort of sales cycle associated with this type of thing. How do you convince farmers that among the many ways that they can increase their yield, this is the one to go for with the price?
The great news about that is that this is like a bioinoculant, but this is a next generation biofertilizer. So we don't change anything in the farmer. They are used to treat the seeds. For instance, in Latam, the adoption, and it is 90%. The 90% of the farmers, they are used to using this sort of product. And in the States, for instance, it's lower. It is 35%, but the prices are much premium there. So the great news is that we don't change anything in the farmer. They are used to using this sort of products.
Frank has a question? Yes, please.
Yeah, again. What about the safety of these extremophiles? When we talk about genetic modified microorganisms, we talk a lot about the horizontal gene transfer. What's here? What kind of study have you done?
Yeah, our extremophiles are not GMO. This is the first thing that we need to know. And the second thing is that in order to have our product, to commercialize our products, we perform a lot of non-pathogenic, we discard the pathogenic feature of our extremophile. So we perform there different, we did some treatment with mice, with rabbits, and we go further because we know the complete genome of our extremophile. So we look into the genome for the pathogenic genes that could be involved in the pathogenicity of the strains. So we know for sure that they are not pathogenic.
30 seconds, really very fast question. Stefan, please.
Could you talk about the scientific part in your production process a bit? Just explaining it.
Yeah, absolutely.
In 15 seconds.
Okay, so the science started 20 years ago. The line for the extremophile started 10 years ago for the plant growth promoter. And I joined the scientific team 5 years ago, and my mission was to transform the basic science into an applied science. I am a biotechnologist. I am used to working with extremophile worldwide. I actually spent 4 months in Antarctica studying 2 vascular plants that grow in there. So that was my mission in the company.
Very good. Perfect timing. Thank you very much, Elisa. And we're going to take the next starter.